So quite often in yoga, we talk about the importance of letting go. This is actually quite a modern term. If you read the old books on yoga, the term yagna is used, which translates more directly as sacrifice. But then if you look at the way that the word yagna is used, the things that are sacrificed are things like ideas and beliefs and processes of identification. These days we don't usually use the word sacrifice to talk about things like that. We would simply say surrendering or letting go. So the idea of the importance of letting go, of surrendering mental processes, is something that's been around for a long time, going back to the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. When we first hear about the idea of letting go, it can be tempting to think that we need to let go of our possessions. But that's not necessarily a good idea. If we need a bicycle to get to work, then we should keep our bicycle. If you need a bicycle to enjoy cycling at the weekend, then keep your bicycle. If you need pots and pans to cook with, then keep your pots and pans. It's certainly useful to live quite a simple life, with few possessions. But we do need things to be able to live and function in the world. One lady once told me that she did not want to let go of her boyfriend because she really loved him. So we certainly don't need to let go of our boyfriends or girlfriends or our husbands or wives. It's important to have supportive relationships and loving relationships. So the thing that we really need to let go of in yoga is actually the process of identifying with the content of the mind and the objects of the senses, of thinking we are the doer of our actions. Every time a thought arises, another thought arises along with it, which is, I am thinking this thought. The same thing happens every time something is seen or heard, which is, I am seeing this thing, or I am hearing this thing. And this happens on a very subtle level of the mind and is happening continuously throughout the day. It even happens in our dreams. We create the idea of a dreamer within the dream, and we identify ourselves with that. In deep states of meditation, we can actually observe this process happening. We can actually see a thought arising in the mind, and along with it, the idea of a thinker of the thought. And then the process of identifying ourselves with that thinker of the thought. So there are 3 stages in the process. So the letting go in yoga is actually letting go of that last stage, the stage of identifying ourselves with the thinker of the thought. And when we do this, the process of creating this idea of the thinker of the thought actually stops happening. It only happens because of the process of identification. In other words, the second step in that process is actually dependent on the third step. The same thing happens when we see something or hear something. If there is a bird singing outside the window, then immediately there arises the thought, there is a person hearing this bird sing. And then I am the person hearing the bird sing. If we let go of that last step, the I am the step in the process, then there is just the bird song arising within awareness and passing away within awareness. And other things may follow from that, feelings of joy, memories, other birds singing in the past, and so on. And those things will also be arising and passing away within awareness. This process of letting go of identifying with the objects of the mind and the objects of the senses is a very gradual process. It's not normally something that we notice when it's happening. It's usually only noticed after the fact. We look back at things that happened And we noticed that we were not identifying the way we used to. There was not the usual clinging process happening, or the process of identifying with a thought in the mind. We gradually become lighter and freer in our own being. This process of letting go often has to be repeated many times. Identifying with things and attaching to things is a habit process in the mind, and letting go has to be cultivated as a new habit. But eventually it becomes a continuous aspect of our being.